is the Shaw Report with Damian Banks.
Hello.
What's happening? What's up? What's going on? It's the Shaw Report, and I am Damian Banks. You know what it is, and you know how we do every week on your airwaves. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Sports by Damian. That's SportsByDaimeon. And you can also follow Shaw University Athletics on social media. On Twitter, it's at Shaw Bears. On Instagram, it's at SU_Bears. And you can also like Shaw University Athletics on Facebook, facebook.com/Shaw Bears. Go to the website, shawbears.com. Download anything your heart desires relating to Shaw University Athletics. Another week is in the book. Had a great week on my end. I hope everyone out there in podcast land had a great week as well. The week was busy, but now it's the freaking weekend. You know what it is. We have fun on the weekends. It was a good atmosphere, a great atmosphere, actually, this past Saturday at Durham County Memorial Stadium. Shaw University and st-augs University clashed in the battle for Raleigh. We're going to talk about that on this episode. Also, we have a great interview with the bowling head coach at Shaw University, Mr. Joe Williams. We're going to give you the Shaw Scoreboard and also the CIAA Scoreboard. The show is jam-packed, man. We rocking, we rolling. It's popping 10s. So without further ado, let's do it. All right, man. Shaw University, st-augs University. There's no love lost between the two schools. They're separated by just a few miles in Raleigh, North Carolina. And on Saturday at Durham County Memorial Stadium, it was the second annual Raleigh Classic, sponsored by the Greater Raleigh Sports Alliance. It was dubbed the Battle for Raleigh, hashtag Battle for Raleigh. And if you were on social media, you should have tagged it, man, Battle for Raleigh. It was a really good game. Despite the final score was st-augs 31, Shaw 14, but the game was actually really good, well-played game. It was tied at 7 in the second quarter, and Shaw's defense played really well throughout that first half. Head coach Adrian Jones has been working diligently with this squad all throughout the season. They've made vast improvements from last year. I was a witness to last year's team, and the difference between last season and this season is definitely night and day. So on this past Saturday, when Shaw took on st-augs, it was a lot at stake for st-augs. If st-augs won and a couple things fell their way, they would represent the Southern Division in the CIAA Championship in Salem, Virginia. Now, Shaw wasn't playing for anything but pride and for bragging rights in Raleigh, but you wouldn't know it by the game that they played on Saturday. Again, the score was tied at 7 in the second quarter, and st-augs was able to put together a drive right before the first half, culminating in a Sam Boyd 13-yard touchdown reception right before the half that gave st-augs a 14-7 halftime lead. But no need to panic, Shaw Bears fans. Shaw received the second half kickoff, so you would think that, the game was well within reach for Shaw University. But two costly turnovers to start the second half really doomed the Shaw Bears. The Bears had 2 consecutive turnovers on 2 consecutive possessions. The first turnover turned into a scoop and score for st-augs University. Shaw cornerback Darren Downing fumbled near his own goal line, and Justin Shaw, no pun intended, is crazy because the play that turned the game around for st-augs was provided by someone with the last name Shaw. You can't make this up, man. Only in sports. That's why I love doing sports. But I digress. Justin Shaw scooped and scored to make the score 21-7. No need to panic. It's only a 2-possession game. 21-7. The game is not out of reach if you're a Shaw University fan. But the second fumble by Shaw on the next possession, Shaw's defense bowed up. They bowed their chest. They stepped up and held st-augs to a field goal to make the score 24-7. Shaw had several opportunities in the second half, but they could never get anything going really through the air. Darren Downing had a tough day on senior day. It was also homecoming at Shaw University. And let me tell you, homecoming at any HBCU is a special occasion. You got alumni coming back. You have fans coming back to the game who don't normally attend the games. And it was a packed house. at Durham County Memorial Stadium for homecoming and senior day for Shaw University. And the Bears played their hearts out. They just weren't able to come away with the win. St. Augs again won this game 31-14. Now Shaw was led on the ground by Uriah Bethea. He had a touchdown run in the fourth quarter to bring that score to 31-14, but that was the final score. Shaw ends their season at 3-7 overall, 2-4 in the Southern Division. And if you're a Shaw fan, you should be proud of this year's team. They made great improvements. It's a lot of good things in the future for Shaw University as far as football is concerned. I truly believe that head coach Adrian Jones and his staff have this team on the right track. It takes time to build a winner. Rome wasn't built overnight, and great programs aren't built overnight. Shaw has had success on the gridiron in the past, and if you're just patient and if you trust the process, these things can happen again. It's like anything in life, man. I'd liken it to people who gain weight. At one point in time, you may not have been as big as you are at this particular moment. You didn't gain that weight overnight. So it's not going to be taken away overnight. You can't lose weight in a day. So you can't become great in a day. You can work towards that greatness. And I think that Shaw football is working towards greatness. You got to look at the recruiting class that Coach Jones is going to bring in next year, along with the returning players, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Shaw is really young on the defensive side, led by Devin Hunt, sophomore, and he is a tackling machine. He's a leader on that football team. And they have a couple seniors to replace, most notably at the quarterback position, and Darren Downing. He is a senior. And, you have to have a quarterback in any level of football to win. If it's middle school, high school, college, NFL, if you don't have a quarterback, then you pretty much are giving yourself a slim to none chance of winning football games. And I think that Adrian Jones, him being a former quarterback in high school, and when he went to North Carolina Central, Coach Jones, he switched over primarily to the defensive side of the ball at cornerback. So he has the secondary shored up, playing a lot of young players in the secondary. So they're going to be seasoned, gain valuable experience this year. And going into next year, I see good to great things for Shaw University on the football field. But again, on Saturday at Durham County Memorial Stadium, it was homecoming and it was senior day. And it ended on a sad note for the seniors. And, no one got hurt, so that's a good thing. You never want to see anyone get hurt. No one got hurt. The game, it was a well-played game. Shaw just came out on the losing end, losing in the second annual Raleigh Classic, the Battle for Raleigh. But I was there. I was in attendance. Shout out to Buckley's Chicken and Fish, man. They always have the chicken and fish popping 10, just the right seasonings. I tasted that Old Bay, y'all. I can't wait until next season, man, because that food is slam mean dog. But I digress, man. You are listening to the Shaw Report. I told you the show is jammed packed. After this commercial break, we're going to come back with the interview. We're going to interview the head bowling coach at Shaw University. Aha! I bet you didn't know that Shaw University had a bowling team, and these ladies can bowl. Now, me personally, I've only bowled once in my life, and not to toot my own horn, I bowled 230 something. I don't even know if that was good. Ask my wife, LaShawn. Ask her. I'm not lying. If I'm lying, then I'm dying, and I'm still alive right now to this day. But I digress, man. So after this commercial break, we're going to interview Joe Williams, head coach of the bowling team. And we also have the Shaw Scoreboard, as I said before, and we have the CIAA Scoreboard. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Shaw Report. I'm Damian Banks on Spreaker Radio. Hey, Shaw Bears fans, refresh your game day with the new and improved real Coca-Cola taste of Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, with 0 calories and 0 sugar. It's college sports' newest tradition. Grab an ice-cold Coca-Cola Zero Sugar and taste the feeling. Coca-Cola, proud sponsor of Shaw University Athletics.
You are listening to the Shaw Report with Damian Banks.
Welcome back to the Shaw Report. Again, I am Damian Banks, Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Sports by Damian. That's SportsByDaimeon. And also Shaw University Athletics is on social media. On Twitter, it's at Shaw Bears. On Instagram, it's at SU_Bears. And on Facebook, like us, facebook.com/Shaw Bears. Without further ado, our guest for this week's episode of the Shaw Report is the head bowling coach at Shaw University, head coach Joe Williams. Coach Williams, thanks for joining us today.
No problem at all. Glad to be here.
Now, Coach, we spoke a little bit, before we started recording the interview, and I just thought that it was pretty cool that each CIAA school has a bowling team. I don't know if we had a bowling team or not when I was at Virginia State. Full disclosure, Shaw fans, I didn't go to Shaw, but I love HBCU, so please forgive me. But I digress. Now, you're the head bowling coach, as we said. What brought you to Shaw University for the alums and the fans that don't know that Shaw has a bowling team?
It started kind of crazy because I had a girl, Brianna Beatty, that was trying to go to Shaw, and she was one of my youth league bowlers. And so I was coaching her, and at the time she was trying to get into Shaw. And I knew the old coaches, which were the Boyds, who had been there for at least 10-plus years. So I set up an interview with them to recruit her. They recruited her, brought her in, and after she started being there at Shaw for a while bowling, the Boyds retired. And so she told me they needed a bowling coach. So I came in and volunteered for 2 years under Marcus Clark and under Kim Miller. After Kim left, I kind of took over the role, and then Dr. Carter officially named me women's bowling coach.
So, like I said before, bowling at a HBCU is pretty cool, and it's not like the soccer program. I talked to Coach Cortell last week, and not, every CIAA team doesn't have a soccer team, but every CIAA school, it's a full league participation as far as bowling is concerned. But I know I don't know for sure, but as far as facilities, when and where do you guys prepare and practice on a daily and a weekly basis?
We practice over at AMF Pleasant Valley Lanes. General Manager Kedrick Murphy is real good with allowing the girls to practice. He gives us Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, which are practice days, usually from 7:30 at night until 9 on Mondays and Wednesdays. And then on Fridays, we're from 4 to 6.
And unbeknownst to many Shaw fans and alums, I didn't know that, CIAA had bowling teams. So, it's a full league participation, as I said before, and it's really competitive. You guys are picked to finish 7th overall, but 3rd in the Southern Division. And Fayetteville State, who's in the Southern Division, is picked to win the whole thing. So you guys have pretty stiff competition within your division. What do you guys do, on a daily, weekly basis to prepare yourselves for a pretty rigorous upcoming season?
The biggest thing is mental preparation. A lot of people think that bowling is just physical, but it's not. What I'm doing is teaching the girls, training them how to build muscle memory. So their muscles are doing the same thing consistently over and over again instead of just throwing the ball and basic targeting skills and everything. I'm teaching them the basic fundamentals to get them prepared for their tournaments and to get them mentally prepared for the chanting, the screaming in a different environment that some of them have never been in before. So just give them a good mental strategy to be prepared for everything. So they know how to deal with the competition, how to deal with lane conditions, and prepare themselves to be ready to bowl.
Again, I'm talking to head bowling coach Joe Williams of Shaw University. You're listening to the Shaw Report. You can check out Coach Williams' squad on ShawBears.com. Check out the roster. Look at the schedule. You might want to go check his team out this season as they prepare for the 17-18 season. And Coach Williams, for a prospective student athlete, if you're in high school, or if you're not in high school, if you're just a freshman or sophomore at a university like Shaw or a Virginia State or St-Augs or what have you, how do you go about, trying to get on the bowling team?
What I would recommend is join a local youth bowling program. There are some great programs here, even if they're not here in Raleigh, North Carolina. They got a lot of great youth bowling programs. So talk to your local proprietors about the youth bowling programs. Once you get involved in the youth program, go ahead and